Today we're going to troubleshoot crank no start on this beautiful Chevy Metro, also known as a Geo Metro in first generation. By the way, this is actually Suzuki Motor Corporation in Japan, called Suzuki Cutlass. In this video I will show you everything you need to know how to troubleshoot crank no start condition. Helpful tips. We'll start with the basics. Without further ado, let's get started. First, as usual, let's confirm the complaint, what exactly is happening. But alright, let's pull the key out from the ignition to stop that beeping, and we're going to gather much useful data, information, which might help us to find the direction and cause of the condition crank no start. Here's the key in my hand. Let's put it in ignition. Okay, I'm going to close the door, start that beeping. Before cranking, I would like to point a couple important steps. What do we have to pay attention to? We're going to listen to the fuel pump prime for a few seconds when ignition turned to the on position. Second thing, we're going to pay attention to the engine light. It should get on as soon as the key is on. It means computer is alive. Very important. And on this vehicle we don't have tachometer. While cranking, watch the tachometer needle bouncing up and down around the 500 RPM. And as you can see, we have fuel. Means we need fuel, spark, air, and engine should be in timing and good mechanical condition, having compression to fire it up. Alright, let's do it. Okay, let's turn the key to the on position. There we go. And you can see the engine light came on, and I don't hear any engine prime. No sound from the fuel pump. Fuel pump is located over here on the back under the seat. No any prime. Let's do one more time. Listen for the fuel pump. And next step, we're going to crank. And while cranking, pay attention to the sound of the engine. You would like to hear even, nice crank, because our engine works as a pump. If all cylinders have the equal compression, we should hear even, nice crank. Sounds like woo 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 woo. That sounds even. When piston reaches top dead center compression, we should hear that even sound among the four cylinders. If we hear woo 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 woo, it means engine has a low compression on one or more cylinders. Okay, alright, keys on, no prime. Let's crank it and listen. Sounds nice, very even. Should have a good compression. And by the way, this engine, this vehicle only has 64,675 kilometers. Right, let's do one more time. Nothing. Okay. Well, no prime, and let's go outside and use our nose to smell. If we have fuel, we should at least smell some gas from the exhaust. This vehicle, as I said, was made in Canada. Let's pop the hood. Pretty sweet little unit. Under the hood we have 4-cylinder, bigger engine you can get, biggest 1.3 waste part type of ignition system, and multi-port fuel injection. Some of them came with a carburetor or single mono injection, but this is a cool probably the best, most powerful version you can have. As I said, it's Suzuki. Yeah, Suzuki Motor Corporation. Beautiful little car. All right, I'm using my DJI mic with a cattail. Make sure we're not getting much noise and wind. Yeah. All right, we confirmed the issue, crank now start, condition, and we gathered some important data, information. And the next step will be to choose the direction, which one we're going. Are we going to check for spark, fuel, air, or look for mechanical condition of the engine, check the compression or timing? Just based on the data, no prime, I don't smell any gas, it cranked really good. We're going to pursue fuel and trace it down and find the cause. Yeah, as I said, it's the first time me looking at this vehicle. Yeah, I always like to start with a path of less resistance and start my diagnosis with the components I can easily get to and start looking for power, switch power, ground, and so on. Next step will be just go underneath, tap it on a fuel tank with a big wrench. 7/8 will work, and see if we can wake up that pump. Hopefully waking up our fuel pump. Fuel pump is located right here. We'll tap it carefully. Try to wake it up, not fact will it work or not, but it might. Sometimes it does, but you won't ever know if you won't try it. All right, let's give it a try. Cranking it over again and see. Let's put the key on, turn it to the on position. Nothing. I don't hear any prime. Oh, let's crank it. Nothing. All right. Let's locate the rest of the components. Here's our fuse box. Here's our relay box. As you know, two main physical forces damage, destroy any electrical circuit is heat and vibration, where it most likely will happen. And with the hood, we can get to our fuel pump relay, fuses, here's a battery, and we can probe everything here, make sure it's happy, and then we'll get to the fuel pump if necessary. On this vehicle, we don't have fuel pump fuse. This fuel pump relay powered by main relay, and main relay has a fusible link, and main relay also feeds lamps, radiator, all ignition components, pretty much 90% of the electrical circuit fed by main relay. All right, here's our light relay. Let's pop the cover off, put it aside, and this is our light relay. Let's go and turn our lights on. It should be the hot all the time. Okay, here's lights. As you can see, yeah, heard the relay clicked. Lights are on. Yeah, as you can see, it's our relay good. We're getting juice. There's a high-low beam. A bit hard to see, but everything's working. Now, we know our headlights relay is good. We're just going to swap it with the fuel pump relay. Always check the numbers on the relay, make sure it's the same type of relay. You don't want to accidentally damage any components. And as you can see, they're identical. There's our relay for lights, and there's our fuel pump relay. But before pulling the relay out, I always like to mark the relay I'm testing, and this is my fuel pump relay. I just put a black dot with a Sharpie, just enough to see. Let's do the relay test, and if relay is good, our lights will be working. Never pull the relays out when circuit is loaded. Now we just swap the relays. Alright, relay swapped. We know our relay is good. We're going to put them back in their original place. This is fuel pump relay and our lights. We know our relay is good, and next will be to check the control and load side of the electrical circuit. Every relay has control and load sides. Ignition is off. Let's pull the relay out. By the way, there's a special tool you can use. It's made for pulling the relays, which is well recommended. Some relays are hard to pull and you can damage the housing. See, it grabs nicely, and as you can see here, we have a pin 30 and 87. 30 is a constant power from the source, always hot. In our situation, when ignition is on, we should see power, and 87 is our load side of the relay. Same with 30, that's going to the fuel pump, and we have 86 and 85. This is power to the control side of the relay. Here's a coil, and 85 is usually ground. And in this situation, closer load side of the relay, if you look closer, load side pins, they're larger and thicker this way, they're wider, and control sides are smaller and narrow because they carry less current, and control side just for turning the relay on and off and feed the current through the relay to the pump. Yeah, that's it. Let's see what we have here. As you can see, bottom slots are larger, they're wider. This is for pin 30 and 87 load side, and control side 85 and 86. In some variation you can have extra pins, but we only have 4. Doesn't matter, always a control and load sides. We should see 3 powers and 1 ground when circuit is loaded. Let's check for those ones. It means if we have 3 powers and ground, then we'll go after the fuel pump. One little important detail would like to pay attention is a drag feel. Like when you pull the relay out, is it loose or it's going with the resistance? That should be some drag on the pins. I can feel it, it's good. And also when you have a relay out, inspect it for any moisture intrusion, corrosion, oxidation, burn marks. Just visually look, sure there's no cracks, no any damage to the pins. And also look down into the relay receiver itself, make sure there's no melted plastic, any debris, any moisture. That's very important. Visual inspection is a key. Do it first. Let's turn the key on. There we go. Key is on. We should have juice on pin 30 and 86. All right. Yes, you can use a test light. That's fine. But one thing you have to understand while using a test light instead of multimeter, we're going to use both. the thickness of the test light probe tip is huge compared to the thickness of those relay legs. Look at that, just side by side. If you're not careful, you push your test light in, you'll end up with spreading the terminals, and then spreaded terminals won't have good connection. It will increase the resistance in the circuit, and your component might fail, won't work properly. Be very careful. If you're going to test with your test light, know your test light current draw. This one pulls 250 milliamps, and I'm going to just lightly drop it. See, I'm not pushing. See, not pushing. Yeah, we have power. Nice. So the light is lit, and no light. Yes, we have that. All right. Just because I know electrical circuit, I can do it. And this pin is our control side of the electrical circuit. See, I even cannot get with my test light. Let's check for the ECU ground. Instead of using a needle probes, I also have the blade pins like this, the same size as your relay pins. They will slide right in. We're going to connect our pin 86 here and our ground 85. We should see 12 volts when circuit is loaded. Let's do that. I have my multimeter set up on a window. As you can see, it's 0 at the moment because key is off, and the fuel pump will only prime for 2-3 seconds. We should see better voltage. Control side power, ECU will round, should register that. Let's do it and see what we have. All right, everything's connected. Right, key is off, key is on. You see the battery voltage. Nice. Here we go for a sec. ECU grounded. Let's do it one more time. Keys on, battery voltage, 2-3 seconds. Beautiful. Okay, good. Now we know ECU grounds the circuit, and most likely we have problem back at the pump. We'll get to it in a few minutes, and we already know our switched battery power, and this pin is going to the fuel pump. We're going to bypass a relay and yeah, see if we'll get pump activated. I have relay tester kit. I'm trying to keep it simple without some complicated tools. There's a master relay and fuse circuit tester, Leslie 69300, and we just need only those two connectors and jump link with a 30 amp fuse. Let's install it and see if we have any response from the pump. We're just bypassing relay, just supplying power straight to the pump. Here's a 30 amp fuse, just in case if we have a short down the line, won't damage anything. Okay, let's connect our probes. As you can see, they're the same size as our relay pins. You can get them online. All right, let's just install one here to the 30. It slides right in to the spot, and second one to the 87. All right, let's turn the pump on. Don't worry about the relay right now. I'm just straight bypassing the relay. All right. Okay, keys on, as you can see. Everything is connected. Alright, let's see if we have power going to pin 87. Let's just connect our test light. We'll find the power. Test light will light up. We'll connect it to the battery ground. Let's probe it here. And yes, I have power on both pins going to the pump. Nothing is happening. Yeah. Let's turn the key off and the light should go out. Alright, light is out. Now we know we tested our electrical circuit all the way to the pump, but we still have to find, do we have some open from the pin 87 down to the pump, or pump myself, or pump itself might be defective. But because we know pump is a simple basic DC motor, we can check the continuity and integrity of the pump itself. Check the continuity through the pump. Let's unplug our connection from the pin 30. We still have pin 87, which is going to the pump connected. Pump is a simple DC motor. If windings are not open, we should have the continuity going all the way to the pump, through the windings, and back to the ground. Let's complete the circuit. This connector is going straight to the pump, and if pump is not open, we'll have some continuity. Let's set our multimeter 2 ohms. Continuity, select, and if circuit is complete, not open, oil out of limit, we're not having continuity, we'll see some resistance. All right, circuit is closed, we can hear the sound. Let's connect our probe to the 87 pin and the ground. We should see some continuity. Now voltmeter is sending power through the wire down to the pump, through the winding, and it should complete the circuit. It come back here and we have nothing. Yeah, most likely pump is defective. It's open. Let's get to the pump and see what's next. Here we go. Now we know we have 3 powers. ECU control ground, relay is good. We finished under the hood, and you might say why you didn't go to the fuel pump connector itself. Yes, we could do it, but then we missed so much data and this vehicle won't be that helpful, informational. And now we're going to the connector. Fortunately for us, connector is not under the floor. Connector is right under the cushion. As you can see here, I have it removed. And this guy is light red, a pink. This thick wire is going from our pin 87 down to the pump, and black is the ground. Let's unplug the connector and check if we're getting power to the connector, and see if we have a ground as well. Let's unplug it, turn the key on, it should light up for 3 seconds. Okay, is unplugged. Let's connect our test light. For this application, test light is a great tool. We just have to know about our power. All right, is it present or not? We're not checking exact voltage. And this red wire, this pin on the left to me is power supply to the pump. Careful, make sure you won't cross the pins when power is on. This is a ground, otherwise it will blow the fuse. And as you can see, there's no moisture intrusion, no any damage. It's not burned, nice and clean as usual. Now I'm just going to carefully place my test light over here. It's resting on that pin, and I'm going to turn the key to the on position and see what will happen. We should have that light lit for 2-3 seconds. There we go. Prime, off, one more time. Nice. Have a light. Everything's working as it should. One more time. Beautiful. All right. All right. Let's go connect it and check for ground. All right. Let's pull the test light out. Connect to the pin. Black ground wire. Here's a adapter connector and my test light alligator clip connected to the end of the extension wire. And we're putting our probe back to the positive, to the power. You could ask why you didn't do it in the first place. Yes, I could, but I would like to check them separately. We could, but we're trying to cover multiple techniques and make this video more complete and more helpful. Now we connect it straight to the pump ground, not to the chassis ground, and see if this pump light will lit. Let's do the same thing and confirm that we are on. There we go. Lit. We have ground, we have power. We just substituted a pump for the test light, and we're down to the pump. Yeah. Here we go. 1 hour and 25 minutes later, successfully I got my fuel pump assembly removed from the tank, and fuel pump is unplugged. That wire is going straight to fuel pump DC electric motor. Let's check for the resistance and continuity. Checking tool first. As you can see, it's working. And yeah, let's check the readings, see if we have any resistance at the fuel pump itself. We're straight on the plug, and what do we have? We have nothing. OL over the limit, open circuit. Not good. It tells me this pump is open. Here is a replacement part, as you can see. And let's check this brand new pump. I got it from the local automotive store, just over the $50. And well, now we know our pump is defective. Let's check the new pump, and we should see some ohm readings. Alright, same way as we checked our old pump. And we have resistance, almost 15 ohms. Let's see, one more time. Yeah, 15.5 ohms, beautiful. Alright, here's a proof. Our fuel pump needs to be replaced. We'll also put a fuel strainer as usual, and service a tank, clean it inside. Here's the original old fuel pump and new one side by side. As you can see, they're identical. Make sure everything will fit, work. Yeah, beautiful. This pump will last a long time, I hope. And yeah, This old one seen in better days. One useful tip to make your fuel pump last longer: make sure you never run lower than quarter tank of fuel. Always keep your tank at least a half or more. And remember, fuel not only lubricates the pump, also cools it down. Yeah, here's a new strainer screen, or the filter sock. Well, let's put it all together. New fuel pump is installed. Only one connector to connect, electrical plug. Make sure it's all in. Well, let's put a tank back, filled up a fuel, and we should be good. Guys, if this video is helpful, informational, educational, or maybe just interesting to watch, put a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Yeah, this video is only for demonstration purposes. What works for me, how you do it, and if you have any comments, questions, critics, suggestions, complaints, put everything down in the comment section below. I'm checking for leaks. As you can see, everything's back. Pretty straightforward. Well, it's almost ready to start. Fresh gas, and we're going to turn the key to the on position 5 times to prime the fuel from the fuel tank all the way to the engine, and then the fuel injectors. Make sure our fuel system is all pressurized, and then we'll crank it over, let it fire it up, run it, check for leaks. Okay, let's prime it. As I said, you can see, now we can hear the prime. Alright. Yeah, you can hear that. Yeah, we'll go several times. I'm sure fuel will get delivered to the fuel injectors. Yeah, beautiful. We hear the prime, which we didn't hear before. And yeah, let's crank it. Alright, still some air. Let's do a couple more primes and crank it over. There we go. Fire it up. Little air is in. We'll get pushed back into the tank to the return line. Yeah, let's run it. Go check for any fuel leaks. Well, thank you so much, guys, for your time watching this video. This beautiful Suzuki Cultus, LK Chevy Metro, Metro is back to life, and yeah, it's running. And I'm going to take the vehicle for a spin, test drive it. Everything should be good. Yeah. Well, if you have any comments, questions, critics, suggestions, put everything down in the comment section below. Leave the video. I will do my best to get back to you. Well, take care, everybody, and see you next one. Bye-bye.